Good morning, welcome. This is the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you're new, I don't think I'll ever stop welcoming and thanking people that are new and explaining what we're doing, because I love explaining what we're doing. And so if you're new and you're just joining our community or just tuning in, or someone has forwarded you this live, or you're watching it on YouTube, because yes, they're on YouTube, and there are podcasts as well. So whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's live, IGTV, YouTube, a podcast, just welcome. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Camila Tibbetts. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have founded and scaled 2 brands in the past, and I recently launched a lifestyle website and facilitating a beautiful community that we're building in Tribe of Mela Lifestyle. So originally these meditations started as me just sharing the behind the scenes of launching a new business, of launching a website, and what all that looks like. You know, I call it moments, madness, and meditations. And I really wanted to take everyone behind the curtain to really see what it's like in the day-to-day, all the mountains, the valley, the trials, the personal, the professional, of doing something new, right? And we're all doing something new, or we'll attempt to do something new in our lives. So the website launched, it's great. It's Mela, M-E-L-A Lifestyle. And thank you for all your orders and your support with that. But a lot of you, once the website launched, I got so much feedback. I received so much feedback around just what the meditations have done for you, and actually me being accountable as well. Because if you join us often, like if I have a headband on, that means it was a busy morning and I couldn't do my hair. Like Camila has a headband on. Oh, she struggled to get here this morning, but I'm here, and I'm grateful that I'm here. So we are in a series called The Expression, and today's Wednesday, and so we've already gone through movement is motivation. We've talked about above it all. We talked about making a way out of no way. And the reason why we're doing this series is because we're ending 2020, and we really want to set it up for a launch in 2021. And it never fails. Literally, it never fails. If we're talking about something, or if I'm sharing a meditation, or I'm encouraging our community in one way, it's like the lesson comes to me as well. I don't plan it that way. So for example, earlier we were talking about movement is meditation. We were talking about rising above it all. We were talking about going back and healing in certain areas and pulling the Band-Aid off. So I recently moved to New York. I had a life and, all the things. You can look at past episodes to see about that in San Diego, and I moved to New York to start anew, and it's been great. But here's the thing. So I was talking to a friend this morning, and they were like, I lived in this really small community, and they were like, hey, why don't you check back in, because now we can do a lot virtual. And I was like, literally, as soon as they said, it was very casual, hey, why don't you check back in with blah, blah, blah. My whole, and the body responds. We talked about that, right? My whole body just became hot with fire. And I was like, oh no, I can't, no. And what I know about myself, and we talk about self-awareness, what I know about myself is that if I have any type of resistance towards something that's suggested to me, whether it's verbally, I immediately get defensive. Whether it's in my, I know where I feel it in my body. I know that, oh, there's something here, and there's something I need to work out, right? And the reality is that the reason why I met with such resistance on that, because I felt like, oh, I'm in New York now. This is what I'm doing now. I'm doing, this is where I'm at now. I don't need to go back there. But there's something about going back there, even if it's virtually, even with that connection, even with seeing familiar faces on a screen, on Zoom squares, that I need to look at, right? And so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back this week, and I'll check in on Friday, but it never fails. And that's the dynamic of an entrepreneur, right? And that's the dynamic of a founder, and that's the dynamic of when you're leading something, that your professional life and what you're trying, especially if you're trailblazing, doing something new, you will learn the lesson as you go. And so you see sometimes people that have, excelled in this area, and then they fall in another area. It's because we talked about there's a difference between promotion and elevation, is that if we strive and we push ourselves so much and we don't take the time to look at those personal lessons that in the quiet moments, like we talk about going into our secret place, if we don't take the time to really look at that and what that's about, it will reveal itself on a larger level. And don't you want to kind of in your small moments or in your intimate moments, or when things are just a bit simpler, don't you want to learn the lesson then? Like, you don't want to learn the lesson when you're on the stage. You don't want to learn the lesson when you're on the platform. You don't want to learn the lesson when you have whatever, blah, 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 followers, whatever that is for you, where you're like, you sometimes you're like, well, as soon as I get here, then I can deal with that. But I would suggest, especially in these last couple of weeks, that let's deal with that now, even for me, with, going back and revisiting this friend group. So I just always like to share that because we do moments, madness, meditation. So that's like the madness this morning, is that I had this conversation and I got completely undone. But I welcome it. I welcome getting undone, because it allows me to heal, and it allows me some self-awareness. And also it helps me in knowing like what we need, or what you guys may need as a community, right? Because I'm not outside of the circle. Like, I'm in it with you. I'm going through it with you. I may be doing it on a different road, but we're all going to the same destination. And isn't that the beauty, and isn't that the gift? So I always like to honor your time. It's Wednesday. So our series is the expression. So I had a different meditation this morning, but when that came up, I was like, you know what? I think our first meditation should be take another look, right? So that's our meditation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, let's meditate on going back and taking another look. This series is called The Expression. It's talking about movement. We're discussing living out the full expression of who you are in every area of your life. That's what Mela Lifestyle is about. It's about in your home, as a homemaker, as a caretaker, like who you are in the world, even though the world may be different right now, who you are in the world. You can be fully expressive of who you are and your identity out there, and that should mirror who you are in your quiet moments. Like, there's no compartmentalization of all these different personalities. Like, you can be completely known, and that's what my heart is, and that's what I'm really passionate about with Mela Lifestyle and the community that we're building. So our first meditation is go back and take another look. And what do I mean by that? Just like I explained this morning when I shared with you, is like, go back and just because, and this is actually an ideal time, right? Because you get to do it in such a thoughtful way. Like, we're all kind of on pause in a lot of ways. So let's go back and take another look at those areas. Let's go back and have those conversations, right? Let's go back and close some doors, right? Let's go back and have some forgiveness and bless some people. And one thing when I work with mentoring different people is that forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. And what do I mean by that? It's like, just because we close a door in a relationship, in a professional contract, in however you engage, some doors need to be closed, because some people, things, opportunities come into your life for a season. But we don't slam the door, or we don't leave it halfway open just so we can tiptoe back and put our foot in the water and see how it feels. Like, some doors need to be closed. And so let's go back and take another look, and let's close those doors and have those conversations, and let's see what comes up when we even, like, if I asked you right now, what door do you still need to close in 2020? Like, what is that conversation you still need to have? You had a thought, and then you already had a reaction, right? Immediately. And so let's do some work around that, right? And so let's go back, let's close some doors, let's have the conversation, and let's go back and take another look. Because when we go back and we take another look, then we can move into a full expression of all that we're called to do on that next level in this new year, in that first quarter of 2021. So that's our first meditation, is go back and take another look. And when we do that, and when things come up, like I always talk about going to your secret place, then you can have the opportunity to soothe and calm yourself, to have that self-awareness to say, this is what I need right now, right? Like no one's gonna come in and rescue me, you know, like I can give myself what I need. And I'm always talking about like not abandoning yourself. Like we're not gonna abandon ourselves at the end of 2020. We're gonna get in alignment. And you know, I'm a word girl. Like I'm all about like words and definitions. So like, what do I mean by getting in alignment? And what getting in alignment really means is like correct and appropriate position, right? And so like, think about if you go to a physical therapist, right? You go to a doctor, he's like, I need my body to be in alignment. Or I do Pilates. You know, it's all about alignment and your posture when you're doing the exercise. And that's what we're doing right now, right? In these meditations, in these last couple of weeks, like we're getting in alignment and we're getting in position of what's next. And you're like, you may say, you know, Camila, I don't know what, like, how can I get in position for something that I don't even know what's coming? Yeah, that's the point. Because once the blessings come, once the opportunities come, once the cure comes, whatever that looks like, you're not going to have time to kind of like, oh, now I need to get now I need to get ready. Like I tell some of the people I work with, you know, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And what do I mean by that? It's like, stay ready, stay in position, stay in alignment, stay open, have the conversations, close the doors. So when the opportunity comes and that launch happens, you've already done the work, like personally, because things are still going to come up. So first meditation this morning is take another look. And the second meditation is just for me. And I thought about that because there are times, you know, with me in a new venture, like or with me in this new season of my life, I'm like, oh, it's just me, right? Like, oh, I got to figure it out myself, or oh, it's just me. But instead of thinking, or I'm alone in my studio and it's just me, or like it's just me for Thanksgiving, or it's just me for the holidays. If we could change the frame and the lens of how we're looking at that and think like just for me, right? That there are certain things that are happening that are just for me, that there is wisdom, there are opportunities for people to pour into you, and it's just for you. And you can have that self-care and create that alignment, and it's just for me. And so when we think of don't think of it from a place of like isolation, like I'm alone. It's like just for me and just for today, I can give myself what I need. Just for me and just for today, I can live out the full expression of who I'm called to be and do that good work, do that good personal work so that I can walk into 2021 better, stronger, wiser. And so thank you. You know, Wednesdays, and do you guys like, if you guys follow and come on every week, you can kind of see, I'm sure there's a pattern with you, and you can see there's a pattern with me, right? Like how, and because it's in real time and this is real life, and like I said, we're pulling the veil and I'm showing you all the things. So like Monday, we start strong. Wednesday's hump day, right? Like there's a lot that happens. And you can see how our meditations are reflective of where we are in the week, right? Friday sends us off into like how we're gonna enjoy the week and what that self-care looks like. But when we get to Wednesday and we're kind of in that middle road, or we're kind of on that fork in the road in the week, let's be very mindful and intentional of how we're gonna align our thoughts, right? How we're gonna align the things that we need to do and how we're gonna close those doors. So I would encourage you today, like what are some of the doors that you need to close in 2020? And what are some of the areas where it's okay to pull the Band-Aid off? And just for you today, like you can get the healing and the momentum that you need. So thanks for joining me this morning on the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. As I mentioned, all of our past meditations are on YouTube right now. They're being transferred into a podcast. The podcast is Tableside with Camila. So you'll be able to get these on the podcast as well as IGTV. So I know a lot of you have reached out to me and told me that you're detoxing for social media, and that's okay, right? Like you give yourself what you need, but isn't it such a gift that we have all these different platforms and all these different ways that we can get information and we can get fed? And that's my joy, and that's what we're doing as a community. So again, thank you for joining me on the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Our 2 meditations today were go back and take another look and just for me. So ciao for now, guys. Have a good day. Bye.